So, welcome everyone. Thanks to people in Shanghai. So, welcome to Guanghua Bookshop's event today. And for those who don't know us, Guanghua Bookshop, we're founded in 1971, and we are a China specialized bookshop located in central London. In addition to our lovely UK-based people, I would like to send a warm welcome to our friends from the Shanghai community. I believe many of you have said hello in the chat. Welcome, thank you so much for your coming. 感谢你们今天晚上来到我们这个关于上海的活动。And I can assure you that you're in the right place because this book that you'll see on the screen, Faces We Love Shanghai, is all about you. Shanghai, I mean, I would assume everyone has heard of Shanghai before. Shanghai is China's financial center and probably one of the most photographed cities in the world. Even if you have never been to the city, you have probably seen some of the city's famous landmarks through the camera work of, say, Mission Impossible 3 or 007 Skyfall. So what makes today's book, Faces We Love Shanghai, so special? So special that it is currently the #1 seller among Amazon's newly released photo essays. So special that it was given a 5-star rating by Reader's Favorite, and it was then featured in the New York Times. So maybe let me read a few excerpts of the book reviews on Reader's Favorite, and probably you'll understand why. One review says, the book shares photographs of people, smile, tears, and their faces marking the breadth of the time and intensity of a life well lived. These people are what makes a community come alive, but these people are also what so many ignore or miss. Another review said, it is a powerful celebration of the real people who live their lives in the nooks and crannies of the world's great cities, the individuals who make up the cultures we love and recognize around the world, an absolute essential for the photography fan and for students of the human condition. Here's another one. We feel immersed in another community as we examine this superb collection of snapshots. The artists share multiple views, pictures, places, instance, thus giving us a hint of a deeper, stronger message and diverse lifestyles. A great job and a perfect gift to your loved ones. And to our Chinese friends, what makes this book even more special is that Sarah Bethune Kelly wrote the foreword for this book. Sarah is the cousin of Henry Norman Bethune. So for those Chinese friends, it's Bai Qiuwen Daifu. He is a well-known surgeon who greatly supported the Chinese people during the Sino-Japanese War. So in Sarah's foreword, she quoted Bai Qiuwen Daifu's words, the function of the artist is to disturb. And she believes this book, Faces We Love Shanghai, is such an artwork that brings the very slight disruption that can help serve to open our minds, break down prejudices, and build friendship. So I would like to invite, first I would like to welcome Lydia, the director of the Faces We Love Shanghai project, who did almost everything from editing to publicity. And I would like to welcome you here. Thank you for joining us today. And I would like to ask Lydia to share a video for us.
Okay, thank you. It's really nice to be here as well. And yeah, we'd love to share this video that was featured in the New York Times. One moment. Okay, it's just over 1 minute, and here we go. Who's gonna kiss me? Who's gonna thrill me? Who's gonna hold me tight tonight?
tell you I was going to Shanghai? I want to be with you tonight. Why did I holler I was going to Shanghai? I want to be with you tonight. It was just a little misunderstanding that a kiss on the cheek could patch. I need you so badly, I'd gladly start all over from scratch. Oh, why did I tell you it was bye-bye for Shanghai? I want to be with you tonight. Why don't you stop me when I talk about Shanghai? It's just a lover's device. Now who's gonna kiss me? Who's gonna thrill me? Who's gonna hold me tight? I'm right around the corner in the phone booth, and I wanna be with you tonight.
Wow, what amazing video. Thank you so much, Lydia, for sharing. Did you guys want to dance to the music? Because I feel the urge to. And I love the slogan as well, visited by many, truly seen by few. Today, I would also like to say I have the honor to introduce the author and the curator of this book and project, Derek Muse and Marissa Tureen. Welcome, both. They are connecting to us from India, and so is Lydia from the very remote another country. And Derek, who made this video? Tell us about this video. Why is it? It looks amazing. Why did you choose the music?
Thank you, Vivian, and thank you to Guanghua Bookshop in London, and also to Garden Books. We're so happy to be here, and to all of you. Right, 欢迎你们. We miss you. We miss our Shanghai family. Just to comment on the video, we loved old Shanghai and we love new Shanghai. And so when we were putting together 1 minute about what is this, under Lydia's direction and her team, we decided to bring old and new together, because it's something that really touched our heart when we lived in Shanghai for 13 years, was the ability to walk down a street and feel like we've gone back in time 100 years, but the buildings still look the same. And so we also wanted to bring in those jazz elements, the music and the arts of Shanghai, with the photographs of just everyday people. And it got picked up. It was very well reviewed. And as mentioned, it was featured in the New York Times for their global audience. So yeah, and you know what? We like dancing too. So we wanted to snap our fingers and tap our toes. And so we have a Doris Day classic about Shanghai to go along with it. So it was fun.
Thank you so much, Derek, for your introduction. And I must say, when I read the introduction of this book, it made me in tears. But more on that later. I also want to say that I'm very impressed with the breadth of the experience you had with you and Marissa have. And I know you're a very successful entrepreneur who had been working in real estate and healthcare within Europe and Greater China. You've always also have been actively involved in volunteer work for over 20 years. And you've listed your biotech company on the NASDAQ. After that, you transitioned to Human Touch Media, a company that focuses on visual storytelling and invests in documentaries and photography. So in 2020, Human Touch Media has launched Faces We Love, a series of photography books that capture honest human moments. So Derek, you're the co-curator on the first edition, Faces We Love Shanghai, the book we're talking about today, a city that you lived for 13 years. Human Touch Media projects have been featured on Netflix, along with international film and photography festivals, including Tribeca. And Marissa, you were born in Argentina and you had a love for a photography since being a child. And after immigrating to Spain, your Marissa's professional life focused on real estate law and later offshore corporate law. Marissa has traveled much of the world, and on her journeys with her camera in hand, she collected a catalog of moments with local people, better understanding their stories through a simple photo. Marissa was able to transition from her legal activities to launch Human Touch Media and be a curator and a photographer on the Faces We Love Shanghai collection. She has been active as a volunteer in education for many years and is currently in the process of relocating to India and exploring future Faces We Love collections. I'm just so curious about you guys. You both had an amazing career path. What made you transition to this Human Touch Media company and started this amazing photography project?
That's a big mouthful introduction, Vivian. We were squeezing our toes.
Yep.
Thank you for your kind words. I think Marissa should go first because I've already talked probably too much. So Marissa, why did you?
You know, I always had a note on my desk that says, we do what we have to do so we can do what we want to do. And that's basically the first part of what you just read, is what we had to do, things that not necessarily were that enjoyable, but pay the bills. And it came a time where those work responsibilities ended and wrapped up. So it gave us the opportunity to actually give more time to the things we actually love, which is humans, and we love faces, and we love people. So something that started as a hobby, which is walking through the streets of Shanghai with my camera, it actually turned into a published book. And yeah, every time we left the house, there's always something changing, something new in Shanghai that is worth capturing, starting with my neighbors and all of the shots that you have seen in that book.
Yeah, and on my side, we were in healthcare, as you mentioned, and life sciences, biotech, and we had some clinics in China and also biotech facilities. Our headquarters was in Shanghai, so we lived in Shanghai. And part of what we did when we launched our business was education for healthcare, awareness, and we captured a lot of that in two ways: photographs and testimonials of people, and video telling their story. And what amazed me was people would come to Shanghai and they'd be like, oh, wow, the Pearl Tower, and, you know, oh, well, the bottle opener, and they'd look at the Bund, and then they'd go back to their hotel and they'd jump on a plane and they'd fly home. Did they really see Shanghai? They saw some buildings, but one of the reasons in the video, it says, visited by many, truly seen by few. We felt that. And we felt that the real soul, the heartbeat of Shanghai was the people we saw every day. So we always said if circumstances in life changed where we could adjust our work commitments, which happened when we sold a business and listed a company, then we would love to go back and create a published collection of photographs that told the story of 13 years in China. And we kind of considered it like a love letter from us to Shanghai, which is why the book is just dedicated to the people of Shanghai.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Derek and Marissa. That's so sweet. And can I ask you, can you share a few of your favorite shots with us in the book and their stories?
Sure, we would love to do that. I think ladies first, right, Vivian? Marissa, do you want to go with yours?
Sure.
Lydia, you going to help us with tech support?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Lydia is the mastermind behind everything, by the way, Vivian. So you nailed it right. She's done everything.
Yes.
So not true.
Well,
What's kind of cool about sorry, Vivian, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I was saying while Lydia is getting ready, I just want to add a quick word of thank you to my friend Sissy and her bookshop, garden books in Shanghai. I know you guys all big fans and frequent visitors. It's one of the best foreign language bookshops in Shanghai. And I know lots of friends here from the Shanghai community are from the garden books recommendations and visited us through their recommendations. Sissy, are you there? Can I see you, Sissy? Can you say hello to us? Maybe I think she logged on and maybe she logged off because because the network might not be very stable. But anyway, I would like to say my warm thanks and to all the friends of the garden books. Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you.
We love garden books, and Cece can watch it later because I think it's recorded, but
yeah,
we used to hang out at garden books a lot because on the weekend they'd have jazz.
Yeah.
And we'd go down there and we would buy their old vintage books of Shanghai back in the 40s, 30s, 20s, 50s. And we'd listen to jazz, have a coffee.
I have the best ice cream.
Or a green tea. And it was nice. We love garden books.
And we used to be neighbors for the longest time. We used to live 3 blocks from garden books. So any chance to pass by Changle Lu and Shanxina.
Yeah.
We were Jululu, Fumin Lu.
Yeah.
That was our little hotspot.
That's the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think these shops like these are what forms the memories of Shanghai streets, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia, if you're ready, you can start sharing the photos. We can't wait.
Ready? I'm going to start with the first one, Marissa.
Okay. Okay, these hands I have seen many times. They belong to my sharpener knife guy. And there's 2 shots in the book of him. Very special man. No WeChat, no phone, no email, completely off the grid. The only way you find him is through through my neighbors, through all the tai-tais that they need sharpening knives. And you could find him twice a week around our neighborhood. We used to chat. I've never had my knives so sharpened as he used to make them. And I just thought it's one of the small components of such a huge city. And then you have this one man on his bike. Everyone knew him. We knew how to find him, and he was the best at it. And
I think you've actually got a picture of him.
yeah, that's him. That's him. Rain or shine, hot or cold, he was out there, old school, as you can tell. He doesn't have any machines. It's just an old stone where he just sharpened by hand each and every one knife. The Japanese chefs loved him because we had a few in Julu Road, and of course you need a very sharp knife to cut that beautiful piece of salmon that all the Japanese places have. So yeah, it was special.
And I particularly remember being at Derek and Marissa's house and Marissa telling me to be careful, do not touch the knives. I've just had them sharpened.
What is really special to me about this photograph is that Marissa didn't speak Chinese when she first met him. So how does an old grandfather type communicate with you when you don't speak any Chinese, but you need to sharpen your knife? So she was learning, but in the earliest days, how did they communicate? A smile and a nod. That's it, no words, no words. But we were a guest. We were a guest in their city.
Yeah.
So he could have just said, well, you can't speak Chinese, I'm not going to help you. And he didn't. And so that was the spirit of community that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Could I ask, did this guy go around the street and use a prolonged Shanghainese to, shout, to call for his business? Something?
No, Word of mouth.
Knife
Word of
sharpening.
No, word of mouth. All the Shanghai Tai-Tais knew how to find him. In fact, I had to ask my neighbors, when is he coming next? And they will tell me exactly where he was. Word of mouth, he was that good.
Wow, that's amazing.
I think we have a second photo.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah. Okay, I love him. He used to, well, not sure if the restaurant is open, but it's a very famous hairy crab, Shanghai hairy crab restaurant. It's also right at the beginning of Changshulug and Jululu. And people used to queue for this restaurant. And he was standing along with other people in the kitchen, getting the meat of the crab legs into a bowl. So it would be easier for the customers to come and eat. But what it was amazing about him is he would stand 8 to 12-hour days. Every time I pass by, I see him. He's working in front of a window. So I took this shot through the window and he always looks so happy. This is not a COVID shot. This is, hygiene, like mask, gloves. And he always looks so sparkle. He just sparkle. And so that morning I just went like this. And again, he had no issues me taking photos. And as you can tell, he's smiling back at you, his face, his smile. And I just thought, this is a man that loves what he does. And he's gonna do it with pride. So yeah, I love this shot.
I love this guy too.
I think we have one more.
Yeah.
That is another guy that you love.
Marissa, it's all guys for Marissa,
Yeah.
Sharpeners, hairy crab guys, and water delivery guys, right? She loved her Shanghai men, for any of those Shanghai men on our call.
Okay, so this is very special and very unique to Shanghai. We all get our water delivered by a water bottle guy. So this was ours in our little community. And what is interesting is the sense of honesty and community. So I will leave my 3 big bottles outside, leave the money underneath the bottle. When I get home, I have my 3 bottles filled with change underneath. And I can't do this in Spain. It's impossible. Derek, can you do this in Canada?
You'd never have the change. So they may take your money, but they're never going to leave you the change, or someone else in the neighborhood is going to steal it.
I don't think you can do this in the UK, right, Lydia?
No, I don't think so.
So the fact that you have such a cosmopolitan city as Shanghai, and yet you have someone on a bike, which is pedaling a very heavy load. Again, he does it, he stops, it looks like he was having this amazing news. Hey, we're having twins. So biking home, again, Shanghai has these beautiful trees that they kind of make this green tunnel going home. And he was there just chatting away and smiling. So I couldn't stop by taking a photo, and he didn't mind.
Can I just mention that one thing I really love about this book is not just the photographs, because the photographs are obviously the main part of it, and it's really beautiful, but also your careful choice of the words, how you name the photographs. Like in this photo, you imagined that he was happy because we are having twins. So I thought it reveals such a sense of a humor, quite a subtle. I don't know if our Chinese friends get it, but I really love it. Like in some other photos, I also noticed that, for example, there's a photo of workers passing through in front of a temple in Shanghai, and you named it My Abbey Road. So I'm not sure if all the Chinese readers will get it, but it's a really interesting choice of vocabulary, or choice of the titles. So I'm sure you spent a lot of time, a lot of energy on these details.
Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we did. We did. Each picture is a story,
Yeah.
and the name helps to define the story. Why don't you show yours, Lydia?
Okay, from when
Lydia's
I
choice is
joined,
quite interesting.
when I first started working with Derek and Marissa, and a lot of the collection, they'd chosen a lot of the photos. This is the one that I saw the first day, and it's the one that it still resonates with me, that I just really love it. I'll show you this one. So it just really hit me because we all take the subway every day, and these guys are there, women as well, not just guys. They're in this uniform that they really take care of, and they take their job very seriously. And yeah, people hardly notice them, but they're there and they're working hard, and they're just getting on with it. And then when I moved, I was living on Anfu Road. I would see some of these guys washing their uniform outside, like very proud of their uniform and taking care of it, and it would be hanging there to dry. And then when I saw this photograph, it just reminded me of everyday life in Shanghai, and it's a memory I'll always keep with me. So I love this one.
And the title of it being Unnoticed,
Yeah.
is one of the, when you flip through the book, there's a lot of Chinese proverbs along with international thought-provoking words. And one of them is true beauty doesn't ask for attention. And the fact that someone is dependable and reliable and consistent is something that we really appreciated about how well our experience in Shanghai was organized. And when you leave that, you realize how much of the world is disorganized. Welcome to India.
And I love it how, Derek, you carefully chose those Chinese sayings to put in different at the beginning of a different section of the book. And for example, the true beauty doesn't ask for attention is corresponding to the Chinese saying 你若盛开蝴蝶自来. And you also chose many other beautiful sayings. Do you mind sharing with us, like, how did they came to your mind? How did you choose them?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That was, first of all, the reason why was that one of the things that we found sometimes disappointing is that when you're a foreigner living as a guest in someone's country, you can focus your time on the things you don't like, but it's far better to focus on the things you do like and how you learn. Coming from Canada, we are a country of immigrants, and we have a tremendous Chinese community in Canada. And we have learned a lot from the Chinese community. And when we moved to China, we learned a lot from our Chinese neighbors. And so we kind of live in a world where the media and different things, they like to create division. And so we felt that when we were putting the photographs together, that people are people, and people ultimately all want the same things. They want to be happy. They want to have a fulfilling life. And so we found a lot of connection with Chinese proverbs and a lot of sayings, expressions, proverbs from Western books. You'll see some proverbs quoted, you'll see some Bible passages quoted, you'll see some famous sayings quoted. And the idea is that we all are looking for guidance and wisdom. And actually, we're not that different. And so we felt that those quotes create unity as opposed to division.
Exactly. I totally agree with you there. Great minds think alike. And also, I mean, it's the beauty is to really find the common things among us, despite the different cultures and languages. And this is what this photograph book is trying to achieve, I believe.
You know, we enjoyed, if Lydia, if you can pull up the photos that I selected. One of the quotes that comes up in the book is, ginger gets spicier with age.
姜还是好
ginger.
的辣。
And we would find some of our older photographs of older people, and they were so full of spice. They were so full of life, and they were funny. And we go to the parks and you'd see older people dancing. You know, in my country, unfortunately, a lot of older people don't go out. They sit in front of the TV. And one of the things I loved about Shanghai was looking at older men, older women outside in the community, active, exercising, dancing, joking with us, and they became our friends. And so this idea that ginger gets spicier with age is just a reminder that when we get older, it doesn't mean that we have to get boring, that life has to become less interesting. And it's something that I personally learned from my 13 years in Shanghai. And particularly some of the women, I wanted to just show a couple of photos, Lydia, of women. You can just roll through them, give them a minute or so, and then we can go to the next one. This was walking over a bridge, and this woman, and it was called, Ship's Captain, right? This woman didn't see us, and she's just throwing water. And then Josh, one of our contributors, he catches her eye. He catches her eye in the next photo, Lydia. And it's just this moment where she doesn't freak out. She sees these Western men looking at her, and that moment where she stares into the camera, look at those eyes. Look at those beautiful cheekbones, that smile. And this is a hardworking working woman. She's not going to a gala at the Shangri-La all dressed up. She's working, right? Is she a mother? Is she a grandmother? Is she a wife? What's her story? But she looked up and she just smiled at us. And it made me just love these hardworking women in Shanghai who work so hard and are so focused. And it really was awesome. And so we have several women shots. And Lydia, if you can bring up the next one. This is another one. It was touched on in our video. Look at this woman's face. So she's on the Bund. This shot was about 6:30 a.m. Sun's just coming up. And they're working on the street. But look at her face. She is smiling, right? She's not on her way to a party or a ball. And if you look at, I guess sometimes when we're looking at Tatler or like a lot of the big flashy, sparkly, sexy magazines that you get that showcase the lifestyle, the champagne and the parties of Shanghai, that's nice. But this is also often overlooked. And these are amazing women that work so hard to support their families. And for them to be smiling when they do it, that smile just was like a heart melter for me. I think there's another one, Lydia. This is just moments of women in Shanghai, which kind of blew my mind. So this woman, who was a very good friend of ours, it was a bike shop on Jululu called Two Wheels, and we got to know the owner quite well. This was his mom. Now, what you don't see is that her hands are full of grease. So she was in her shop, and we were taking photographs. And then I said, I want to get your beautiful smile in front of a Shanghai door, because I had a Shanghai red door, and I love Shanghai red doors, right? And so she stood in front. She's like, oh, but look at my hands. We're like, okay, pretend you're a model and put your hands behind your head. She's a grandmother. Yeah. She's a grandmother. And in her shop, 5 minutes before this was being taken, she was on her hands and knees and she's replacing a wheel. And in the far corner, she's cooking lunch for her husband, her son, and her grandson. Look, what an amazing woman. And then she's still smiling and she's beautiful. And so we tried to bring in some of our beautiful Shanghai women and how hard they work. It was just, yeah, awesome. I think we have another section, Lydia, on another aspect, which is pets. Some pet shots. Our pet experience in oh, was she your neighbor before? Okay, that's so cool. Our pet experience in Shanghai was hilarious because they love their animals. And especially COVID, in the COVID area, it's been really tough on families, on kids, and on pets. And this particular shot, which is called I Wish I'd Worn Red. Why? Because the dog that's wearing yellow is not getting the attention, right? Now, I think the background of this was actually probably a little bit more driven by sexual tension and mating, because actually the yellow dog was quite interested in the red dog, and the red dog was being saved by its owner. And he scooped that dog up and ran away. But there they are dressed up in the rain. And I think our next photo is a little bit more of a modeling session of our dear pets. There we go. Don't hate me.
Because I'm more gorgeous.
Don't hate me because I'm gorgeous. And this guy dressed up his dog for a walk in the park, and his dog was just getting paparazzi. But it just reminded us that dogs connect with feelings and emotions. And for those who've had pets, you know that support system that they give the family, that feeling of love. And especially when we're going through difficult periods of loneliness, depression, dogs create a big support, pets create support. I think I have to cut two more, right, Lydia?
Yes. There's one more. There's another dog shot here.
Yeah, so this was kind of a little more COVID related. And we put this in because although this book was not a COVID piece, this book started in 2017. COVID allowed us to finish it. One of the things that really, breaks our heart is when people you love are suffering, right? And as all of you know, this period, especially this last wave of COVID in Shanghai, everybody has been watching it on the news. And so within our book, there is a few photographs that capture a community fighting back against a pandemic. And it's been such a period of isolation, loneliness, struggle. And when we've talked to a lot of our dear friends, and we consider them family, it's quite heartbreaking. And so for those of you who are in Shanghai and on this call, really our heart goes out to you during this period. There's no words in any language that can make us feel better when we're going through such isolation. And so the photos that we captured that deal with COVID and the mask era, we tried to bring some happiness of a time when we could get out of the house, take our dog for a walk. This particular photograph, you have a Lawai in the background with a dear Chinese friend, and then their dog with a mask on. And those were times when they were doing their best to cope. It wasn't full lockdown, but they were doing their best to cope. And it's something that we really appreciate about Shanghai, is the sense of community, the helpfulness of the neighbors. And as foreigners living there, they were so good to us. They welcomed us into their community, and we learned from them. And so we wanted the COVID journey to be captured, but not for it to be overly negative, because we have enough of that. And so this shot, we thought, brought a little bit of humor to our moment by keeping our dogs safe.
That's what I love about these COVID shots. I mean, they really brought out a very positive message and energy. And it's not about complaining, it's more about how we adapt and cope.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sissy, the owner of Gardens Books, yesterday, and I wonder, Sissy, are you on now? 你在吗 Sissy?
Hi, Vivian.
Hello, hi. 你可以开你的摄像头吗？可以吗？还是网速有点没关系，如果你不想要的话没关系。然后就是非常感谢你支持我们这次的活动 ，so thank you so much for your support. And 其实 I was so touched when you told me about how you closed your shop since March the 17th, and you have been really actively transitioning your business model and adapting to the ever-changing situation. We would love to hear from you. How are you doing now?
Hi, Derek, Marissa, Lydia, and Vivian.
Hey.
Hi, Cici.
Hey, Cici.
Long
Hello.
time no see.
Really
Sorry, I
long
was
time.
late. I was doing the big cleaning just now, so preparing the flowers and plants for guests. So late.
Amazing.
Hey, how are you? It's a very good topic here. As we know, we closed for nearly 2 months, actually. It's not so good for the business, but I think you will see many different and other things happen in Shanghai, especially the neighborhoods or some even the negative things. But we think maybe we will recover soon. And we took a lot of photos about these 2 months, not only for garden books, but also you mentioned in the books, right? Changle Road, Wukang Road, the French concession here, right? Because I didn't catch the photos before you shared. I think maybe if we take more time on the book, we would love to hear more about things from Derek and Marissa. I'm not sure if you can catch my voice
We can
because
hear you very well.
sorry, because it's my new phone for the Huawei. I cannot use that. We cannot use iPhone and VPN for a long time. So we changed the Huawei.
It's working well, I think.
I've seen many of my friends and garden books guests here, right?
Yes. Hello to everyone. I just want to say, Cici, I don't know if you caught us saying this before. I mean, Derek shared his love for Shanghai streets. 他说他很喜欢上海的街道。但是, but I think it's just a bookshop like you that these small businesses that are actually lighting up the streets for Shanghai and making them alive. 我真的觉得就是像你们的小店才是，就是让上海的街道才更有那种烟火气，然后就是好像我们之前也说过，就是说当店关的时候，那个梧桐树都感觉有点暗淡无光的感觉，是那种感觉，所以我们非常非常的就是想给你鼓励和支持，
Thank you
希
so
望
much.
你们早点可以开店，然后做更多的活动来支持我们的社区。
Thank you. We will. Thank you.
So I wonder if there's any questions from our audience today, or if you would like to share your feelings during this very challenging period, please feel free to unmute yourself and talk to us. We want to hear from you.
Can we share some photos here about the recent streets here in Shanghai? But I'm not sure where we can share the photos.
谢谢，我可以I think I've allowed the third party to share the screen, so please go ahead. 你可以试着看看能不能就是分享你的屏幕。
可能是手机的关系，是不是好多功能没？没有找到。
In the meantime, if you have any questions about this book or have any questions to Derek, Marissa, or Lydia, you can type your questions in the chat as well. I also welcome our UK-based audience if you do want to ask anything. And just to say that this book is now available for sale in Guanghua Bookshop, so do come to see us and pick up a copy. So Derek, can I ask you, how did you learn about these Chinese sayings then? Who taught you this?
A lot of it was pretty random, Vivian. We've always loved history. And so when you love history, you end up talking to people about history. And when you look at history of life and you look at Chinese history and you talk to historians, a lot of times they'll share with you proverbs, Chinese expressions that have deep meaning. And we just found, when I say we, myself, Marissa, Lydia, and our team, we're a team that love history. And proverbs, they help you to reflect and just meditate on life. And in our journey in China, it's something that we really appreciated about Chinese culture, was the rich Chinese proverbs that were very deep in meaning. And so we found we could find those proverbs and feature them. When people are flipping through a book, you know, they need to give their eyes a rest and allow themselves just to. And so because our book, you know, there was people that told us, even Chinese people, oh, no one's going to like your book because it's not full of supermodels. And I was like, really? And we disagreed. You know, we thought a lot of people will connect. And then when our first shipment of books came to the UK, they all sold out like that. Mm-hmm. Who was it? It was people that remember the city of Shanghai, the good times, the tough times, and just want to be able to laugh on their journey through the streets of Shanghai. So that's why we have some humor. And we have some absolute reality, working hard in Shanghai. And people want what's real. And so the proverbs would talk about real life. Our photos capture real life, everyday life, and allow the viewer just to say, hey, I appreciate that. And it allows us as foreigners to look back on our experience in China with a feeling of gratitude in our heart for all of the hardworking people that keep that city going.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see if there is and I think there's a review, there's a feedback here in our chat I would like to read out loud. I've long wanted to go to Shanghai and your photos only makes me want to go more. Beautiful and touching. It's a very real-time feedback to your book.
Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela. And I wonder if there are any expats right now in Shanghai in this meeting at the moment. Anyone? I think we're just a little bit shy still. I don't know if you want to share this, Derek. I wonder if you would like to share how this pandemic affected your life, because you said you lived in Shanghai for 13 years before.
Yeah, you know, the first thing, and maybe we can tag team this. I loved biking in Shanghai. It was one of my favorite things to do in life was biking. So I used to work, our head office was in Xinguo Bingguan. And we used to bike there from sort of Jululu, Fuminlu, every day. And like Marissa described, the trees, and you'd have these beautiful buildings, but then you'd have these heritage old buildings and the people, and I loved biking. And so, and we went to Thailand on holiday. At that point, there was this news item about the coronavirus and Wuhan was in all. And we're like, you know what? We've been there a long time. We remember the SARS and, you know, all of it, it'll pass. And it didn't pass. But I remember personally, aside from having to leave your house and your neighborhood, the mental and emotional therapy that I would feel just getting on my bike and biking around the French concession in Shanghai, man, that was, I missed that so much. How about you?
I miss my neighbors. We used to live in this old xiaoqiu, and our guards were so, they were friends, and we had jokes. My next door neighbor, Miss Wang, I used to sit with her husband, and we used to listen to Beijing opera. He used to explain to me the meaning of this beautiful singer. I could barely understand what she was saying, but he took the time, you know, who does that? And then his wife used to teach me what she was doing for lunch today. And all of a sudden you feel accepted. Doesn't matter if your Mandarin is 100%. Somehow you're one of them. And, you know, you share food, and today I cook different things and they're curious and they come, and vice versa. But I think it's what we were discussing before, is a sense of community. Like a little town in a big city, and it's very difficult to explain because each little xiaoqiu, it's a little town, it's a little neighborhood, but you only understand that because you live there, and everyone knows you. Everyone knows she lives in 43. And so, yeah, I miss that. I miss that sense of knowing everyone's names, what everyone is cooking. Yeah, it's
sharpening
different.
your knives, knowing when he will come.
I miss my shalom bao. I miss my shalom bao. Yeah, really.
So,
how about you, Lydia? What did you miss?
I wasn't there for that long. I was there for 4 years, and I shockingly never learned any Mandarin at all. But what was amazing was how my neighbors, you could always just smile at everyone. And I regret not making more of an effort with that, to be able to get to know them a little bit more. But one of the things that I miss the most, I think it's one of the safest places I've ever been. And all of the things that Derek and Marissa, like the biking and all the other things, it was the safety aspect too. You were so safe, and there isn't anywhere like that. So I miss it.
That's how I felt about Shanghai. It's very safe, very incredibly, give you a very strong sense of security. Yeah. And I lived there for 3 years as well, working there. But I miss the city dearly. Yeah, it left lots of great memories, and it's a city with just great energy.
That is for sure.
I would like to see if anyone has more questions or want to share anything. Otherwise, we will probably be ending the talk soon. 大家有没有什么想分享的？你可以说中文，我可以帮你翻译。如果你不想说英文的话。
Hello everyone.
Hello.
你好。你好。你说。
Who first?
所以应侃先说好不好？不好意思，应峰先说。
Hello everyone. I am Jane from Garden Box. I'm the staff of Garden Box, and thank you for inviting. And we are really impressed of this meeting here. And we miss every client in Garden Box, and we want to see you soon. And as you know, many foreign clients already left Shanghai because of coronavirus, and we are very sad about this. And we hope that Shanghai will be better soon, and maybe see you later again. Yeah, thank you.
谢谢你。
谢谢，感谢你抽出时间来参加我们的活动。刚才是瑞奇吗？瑞奇，你想要说吗？还是哪一位？不好意思，我没有看到。
是的，你好，是
你好
Vivian 是吧？
对，是我。
你好，第一次参加这个活动，非常感谢大家这样在这个疫情期间举办一个线上的 gathering 啊，非常的温暖。我自己也是 Garden Books 的一个书迷，然后这个之前在伦敦也经常到光华书店来这个看，所以就觉得这个活动很有意义。也想问一下，现在光华书店在伦敦怎么样？就是因为我记得是在那个 Queen's Theatre 的对面吧，就是很热闹的一条街，上面是 Cambridge Circus， 下面应该是 Piccadilly Circus。疫情对你们有影响吗？特别是对于这种书店，谢谢。
好，就是我为了那个大多数的观众，可能有的观众是听不懂中文的，所以我把你的问题翻译一下，你介意吗？
好的，
不好意思，Richie。好，So Richie says hello to everyone, and she says that she's a frequent visitor to Garden Books, and also while she lived in London, she was also a frequent visitor to us Guanghua Bookshop. She remembers we were located between the Cambridge Circus and the Piccadilly Circus. That's exactly right. And then we're on the Shaftesbury Avenue. Yes, so she asked me how we are doing during the pandemic. So yeah, I would just like to share during the UK did go through a few phases of lockdown during which the non-essential shops are not allowed to open. So we did close down for a while, but luckily, I think the government gave us the financial support, and we also got some financial support from the landlord. So therefore, we were able to survive that. And now we are open. We're open normally on the slightly reduced hours, but are open as normal. And we've got a lot of our old friends coming back to visit us as well, which is really happy news. So thank you again for everyone's support to us and not forgetting us.
Great. Glad to meet everyone online, and we wish to have more opportunities to attend such activities in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do come to our event even more. We will have one almost every month. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, and I also know like someone from Jenny from Canada says hi, and then she says your book has made me discover a new side of China. Thank you for joining us. And
Thanks, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
So Cici wants to ask a question saying, despite xiaolongbao, did any other Shanghai local food impress you?
Yes. You want to go?
Ooh, I love my dandan noodles, and I love hairy crab. Really do. He's allergic to crab, but I make up for the both of us. So I eat for both.
I really miss the soup dumplings with the sesame and the crispy bottom. There was a guy on Ulumuchilu, and I think Ulumuchi and Fuxing, and it was insane. Like we'd go there on Sunday, big pan, crispy bottom, full of soup. And the trick was, as a lawai, trying to get my chopsticks so that they wouldn't spill. So it was the bite, let the steam out, sip. And at that moment, typically I would spill all over myself, right? It would fall out of my chopsticks. It would bounce off of my lap, soup exploding everywhere. And that would happen again and again and again, but still, it was worth it.
It took a decade to master that.
It was so delicious. The sesame and the crispiness. I also do miss my duck as well. Like nobody does duck like China. And whether it's in Peking, whether it's in Beijing or it's in Shanghai, duck is incredible.
How are you doing on the soups thing now? Are you still spilling soup, or have practice made you better?
Vivian, I think I mastered it, and then I was like stuck outside of China, so I've lost all my skills. And I think I'm going to be worse when I go back. So I'm going to wear like a bib, adult bib, maybe
No.
a hairy crab, you know, like.
Just another reason for you to go back to Shanghai.
First, one of the first reasons. Yeah.
Oh no, Derek, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I am too.
Tell me about it.
Coming over to your place, CC, we want to have some dumplings with you.
Lydia, do you have a favorite food?
I was slowed down in the bookstore for 2 months, and I didn't receive any food from the government. And so nowadays I miss too many things I want to eat because I cannot cook here. Oh, it's awful.
So sorry.
Oh, that's not easy.
Yeah, we're so sorry to hear that. I mean, it's just surprising how you can Shanghai is probably the richest city in China, and there's always an abundance of food. But all of a sudden you're going from having everything to nothing. Yeah, we're very sorry. Then, we do hope the situation is getting better. Cici?
Yes, we hope so. Luckily, we have 2 kittens here and a lot of books here.
And Vivian, this has really made the people of Shanghai shine, because we're getting little stories from all of our friends, people that are not working, they're volunteering to bring people to the older ones, people that they don't know how to order online, or they're just too sick or too elderly to go out. So the stories that we're hearing is, again, the amazing people of Shanghai stepping up for our neighbors, doing everything they can to just bring a little bit of rice, sharing their food. They don't have much, and they're feeding with a lot of cabbage, I'm hearing. But it is incredible how the people again have shined.
Yes, incredible neighbors, incredible community. We're so proud of you, Shanghai. Yes, it says, sorry, my screen is just a bit hard to see at the moment without Danda. So Alan shared, without Danda noodle for more than 2 months, we would have missed after. Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing. And if no more questions, I believe we are coming to an end of this event. And thank you so much, Derek, Marissa, and Lydia, for all your hard work. And I do hope to speak to you again soon. And I hope your book sells really, really well, stay in that #1 spot. And if you are interested in getting a copy, please do come to 112 Shaftesbury Avenue, London, near Leicester Square, and to get a copy from Guanghua Bookshop. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Lots of love to Shanghai, to all the friends in Shanghai. 希望你们平安和快乐。谢谢大家来参加我们的活动，谢谢。晚安，再见。
Thank you.
Merci.
Bye bye.
Thank you.